now we are recording, so. All right, so, and if you are on the mat, I would like to invite you to find a comfortable seated position. My suggestion would be that you use a blanket, such as the one that I have here behind me, or a pillow. The posture I'm in is easy pose, where you just kind of sit so that the pelvis is a little bit higher than the knees, and then you can bring in one leg and then the other leg. Another option also would be to find a comfortable kneeling position. You can always place a blanket underneath the knees or a pillow back behind the hips too. So feel welcome to change back and forth between a kneeling and a cross-legged position, or of course for those of us who are in the chair, make yourselves comfortable in the chair. One thing you can do if you're in the chair and your feet don't quite reach the ground is place a blanket or a yoga block or something like that underneath the feet to just give you that connection with the ground of the feet. Okay. We'll go ahead and get started if everyone's comfortable. So you can go ahead and close the eyes, or just adopting a soft gaze. Just starting to notice that shift inward. Beginning to connect with the breath. Sensing that spaciousness of the inhalation. And the gentle release and the letting go with the exhalation. You can place a hand on the chest and the other hand on the belly also to kind of help with that feeling of connection with the breath. And perhaps bringing to mind an intention, either an intention for the practice today or just a life intention. And bringing that forward in a first person present tense form. Something such as, I am healthy, whole, and complete just as I am. Or something such as, I show myself the same loving kindness that I show all other beings. Just whatever feels right for you today. Sensing that is true in this moment. You can go ahead and release the hands, and if the eyes were closed, you can open them. We're going to start out with a practice of alternate nostril breathing. So for this one, I'll show you the hands here in just a minute, but we're going to breathe in through the right nostril, retain the breath, and you can just kind of picture the breath just sitting here at the forehead between the eyebrows, and then we'll breathe out the left nostril. And then you're going to breathe in the left nostril, retain the breath, and we'll breathe out the right nostril, going back and forth so the breath will make kind of a U shape. And for the hands, you'll take the second and third finger, placing them on the forehead between the eyebrows, and we'll be using the fourth and fifth finger to hold the left nostril, and the right thumb to hold the right nostril. So we'll start out with the right nostril open, and you'll breathe in through the right nostril. And then holding both, we'll retain the breath. And then releasing the left nostril, we'll breathe out the left side. And then breathing in through that left nostril. And retaining. We'll release the thumb and breathe out the right side. Breathing back in the right nostril. Retaining and holding both nostrils. And then we'll release the left side, breathing out the left side. Breathing back in that left side. Retaining. And then we'll breathe out the right side. And you'll just move on at the pace of your own breath. If this is a new practice for you, the retention may be a little difficult. And just be gentle with it, not retaining for too long. But as you continue the practice, you may notice that it starts to get a little bit easier. And if it's difficult to breathe through one side and it's an uncomfortable practice, you can also just visualize this too. We'll do one more breath cycle. And then releasing the hands. And just taking a minute to notice any effects that you might have had from the practice. It's a good one to do in the evening before going to bed, or if you just need a little time out during the day. I'll go ahead and move into some movement now. I'm going to work on opening up the body, the spine, the neck, and the shoulders. So we'll start out with, from your seated position, just gently rotating the upper body around the center of gravity. Beginning to gently open up the hips and the spine. And as you continue on, you can start to make it a little bit deeper movement. As you come around, taking the opposite shoulder towards the opposite knee. We'll go around one more time here and then changing directions, going the opposite direction, starting out with the gentle movement, and then we'll gradually increase it as we go. This is an easy way to just start to open up the joints of the body from a seated position. As you deepen the movement, bringing the opposite shoulder towards the opposite knee. And then coming back to a neutral spine, do a little bit of side bending. So to start out with, you'll place the right palm towards the ground or on the side of your chair, and then sweeping the left arm up overhead, stretching the entire left side of the body. And then bringing that left palm down, sweeping the right arm up and overhead, stretching the right side of the body. The arms are just kind of going in opposition here. And coming back to a neutral spine, we'll do a little spine rotation here. We're going to do a movement with the arms. However, if it hurts the neck to bring the arms overhead, you can just place the hands on the hips for this one. Otherwise, you'll inhale the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, gently twisting towards your right side and bringing the arms back down towards the ground or your chair. We'll inhale back towards center as the arms lift overhead as though the breath is lifting the arms, and then exhale, twisting to your left. Inhaling back towards center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. And again, with this one, you can move with your own breath, allowing the breath to kind of lead the movement. Sensing that space and expansion of the inhale as the arms come up overhead, and that kind of bringing out with the exhalation of the breath. We'll do one more here. And then coming back to center and a neutral spine as the hands drift back down. I'll do some shoulder rotations now to start opening the shoulder girdle. You can do this one with the breath too. As you inhale, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, and as you exhale, pulling the shoulder blades together in the back as the shoulders drop down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulder blades together as the shoulders come down. And then releasing both the shoulders, you can kind of shake them out a little. We're going to isolate the shoulders now. So we'll start out with the right side. You can take the thumb and connecting it with your 4 fingers, placing it underneath the crook of the arm. We're going to make small circles with that right elbow. And as we're working on this right side here, you can just gently drop that left ear towards the left shoulder and feel that stretch in the neck and all those connections between the neck and into the arms and even into the hands. And gradually deepening and increasing the range of motion of the shoulder here, just as your range of motion allows. You can change directions. And then releasing your hand down, we're going to do a rotation of that right elbow now. So that right thumb's going to sweep across the front of the body and then around. You're going to spread the fingers and the hands wide to help stretch that fascia out in the hands and feel that connection, those connections all the way up into the neck here. And then changing direction so that the pinky finger leads the circle, the rotation. And then releasing that right arm, and you can shake out that right arm and just take a minute to notice the right side and then notice the left side. We'll go ahead and switch to the other side. So you'll take that left thumb, connecting it with the 4 fingers, and you can place that underneath the crook of the left arm. We'll start out with just small circles. You can just rotate backwards here of that left elbow, and you can start to gently drop that right ear towards the right shoulder. And then gradually deepening, increasing your range of motion and the depth of the circles here. And then changing directions. And then releasing that left hand. We'll do that rotation of the left elbow now. So you'll sweep that left thumb across the body and around, and then flipping the hand around. Fingers and hands spread wide to stretch out that fascial plane. And then changing direction so that the pinky finger leads. And then you can release that left arm and shake it out. Just noticing both sides of the neck and the shoulders and the arms now. Any opening that might be happening. And now we'll go ahead and just do some rolls of the neck. So you can start out bringing the right ear towards the right shoulder and then bringing the chin towards the chest, rolling across to the left ear to the left shoulder, rolling back. If doing a circular motion doesn't feel right for you, you can do whatever movement of the neck feels good here to bring in some space and some opening. And then coming back to a neutral spine again as you're ready. We'll do another stretch of the neck here. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, and then as you exhale, bringing the elbows down towards the rib cage as you extend the crown of the head up towards the sky and tuck the chin in towards the chest. And then you'll drop the arms, inhaling up overhead. You can lift the gaze upward on the inhale. Exhale, tucking the chin in towards the chest, elbows in towards the rib cage, extending the neck long. Feeling that stretch in the upper back and the lower neck. Inhale the arms up again. This time we're going to go ahead and grab that left elbow with the right hand. And you can grab for your right shoulder blade with the left hand also. Getting a stretch in that left shoulder, and then we'll gently, you can just kind of lean towards your right side, getting a stretch up that entire left side of the torso. And on the next inhale, arms extend back overhead. We'll switch sides, now grabbing that right elbow with the left hand, reaching for that left shoulder blade with the right hand, and then gently leaning over towards your left side, finding that stretch in the right side of the body. Being gentle with the body today. It doesn't have to be a set movement. It can be doesn't have to be a static movement, I guess. It can be fluid. And then we'll inhale our arms back overhead and return to the side so you can see. This time we're going to exhale, bring the hands behind you. You can either place the hands on the hips or you can grasp the palms behind you. Getting that stretch in the front side of the body here. So you're extending from the tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. And our next inhale, we'll bring the arms up overhead again, bringing the palms together overhead and letting the palms come back down towards the heart. All right, you can release the palms. You can make any final movements that might feel good. If anything feels good to do, again, to kind of open up the upper body, the neck, or the shoulders. And then you can make your way to your mat, to a tabletop position. on the hands and the knees. If you're in the chair, we're just going to do a couple of postures here on the mat. So we're going to be doing a cat-cow. So if you're seated in the chair, I'll show that first while everyone's getting themselves down to their hands and knees. So if you're sitting, the cat, you'll just lift the gaze upward and then exhale, chin in towards the chest and curving the back out towards the chair behind you. And you'll inhale, exhale. And then for the cobra to the child's posture, you'll just place the hands on the knees and you'll inhale coming forward and then exhale, dropping the body over the knees. Okay. All right, so if you're on your mats, the shoulders are going to be approximately over the wrists. You can also, if this causes tension for your wrists, you can make fists with the hands too for this. And then the hips will be approximately over the knees. We'll do a cat-cow movement here with the breath. So as you inhale, you'll begin to drop the belly towards the mat and lift the gaze upward. And then as you exhale, tucking the chin in towards the chest, bringing the tailbone towards the ground as you arch the back up towards the ceiling. And then you'll inhale, dropping the belly towards the ground, lifting the gaze up. Exhale, chin in towards your chest, tailbone towards the ground. And as you go, you can gradually increase the range of motion of the snow. And then if you're on the mat, we'll go ahead and walk our hands forward just a little bit here. And we're going to go forward towards our cobra. So you're going to shift the weight forward. And just a gentle back bend here as you lift the gaze upward. And then as you exhale, bringing the weight of the hips back towards the heels and extending the spine long from the fingertips all the way out through the tailbone. And the head does not have to come to the mat here. We'll inhale, shifting the weight back forwards again. Gaze lifts upward, and then exhale, shifting the hips back towards the heels. The palms of the hands, getting some traction with the ground so that we can stretch the spine some here. Inhale, shifting the weight forward, gaze lifts up. Exhale, coming back towards child's posture, just moving with your breath here. And on your next inhale, you'll come forward and then spreading the knees wide, the toes come together, and you'll drop back towards your child's posture, this time dropping the forehead either to the ground, or you can put your head on a blanket or a block or a pillow if you'd like. And just coming into a rest position. And if having the arms stretched out behind you puts too much tension on the shoulders or the neck, you can bring the hands up to your side, more at the level of the hips. Just taking a few deep breaths there as you breathe, sensing that opening in the back side of the body. And if you're in the chair right now, you can just place the head on the knees, or if you have a blanket or a pillow, placing the head on the knees. And just releasing the arms down. And with each breath, just sensing that expansion in the back side of the body. And sensing the weight of the forehead against the mat or the blanket or the pillow. With each exhale, just letting go just a little bit more. Just releasing the body into the ground or into the chair. And then as you're ready, you can start to gently roll back up to a seated position, whether on the ground or in the chair, just kind of rolling out vertebra by vertebra. And if you're on the ground, we'll go ahead and swing the legs around and lie down on the back. So the knees are going to be bent, the soles of the feet on the floor. And whether you're lying on the ground or sitting in the chair, just kind of letting go, releasing any tensions in the body. Noticing all the areas where the body comes in contact with and is supported by the ground or by the chair. Sensing the movements of the body with the breath, those subtle movements of the spine. And if you're lying on the ground, you can pull the knees in towards your chest, just giving them a gentle hug and gently rolling back and forth, massaging the lower back and the outer hips. And then whether you're on the floor or in the chair, extending the legs out long. And then we'll do some gentle rotations of the ankles, sensing all those connections from the feet, the backs of the legs, and into the lower back. And changing directions. And then pointing and flexing the toes. And then placing the hands on the knees. You can kind of pull them in towards the chest. And we'll do some rotations of the knees outward. Just little circles of the knees rotating the hips. And if you're in the chair, you can also just do some rotations of the hips. And you can do just the right side. And just the left side. And doing both sides at once again. And if you're seated in the chair, you can bring the knees about hip distance apart and then just let the body drape in between the legs. If you're lying on the ground, we're going to do happy baby. So you can grab the outside of the shins, or even grabbing the outsides of the feet, and they'll gently rock back and forth. And dropping both feet back towards the ground. And place the feet about hip distance, or you could go even to mat width apart. And we're going to gently just windshield wiper the legs back and forth. So you let the legs both fall towards your left side. You can place the arms out wide to help brace yourself here, bringing the knees back to center and then letting both knees fall out towards your right side. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, the legs fall to your left side. Inhaling to center. Exhale, dropping to the other side. And this you can do in the chair too, just allowing the knees to drop back and forth and feeling that gentle twist clear kind of up the spine here. And then coming back up here, we're going to get ready for our Shavasana. So you can make any final movements that feel good. You can pull the knees back in towards the chest again, doing a little roll to massage the lower back. Maybe pulling a knee in towards the chest and stretching the other out long. Just taking a minute here to do any movements that feel good for your body before we lie for about 20 minutes. And then as you're ready, if you're lying on the ground, you can extend your legs out long. Feeling welcome to place a blanket or a pillow underneath the knees to help support your lower back, or perhaps a blanket or a pillow behind the head. You can let the legs go out a little wide and just letting the feet fall out towards the side and the palms up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and sit up as I'm guiding. And if you're seated in the chair, find a comfortable position. You might want to scoot back in the chair a little if you're seated, and finding a good position for your spine, perhaps placing something underneath the feet. But if you're lying down, you can just stay down for this portion for your Shavasana. I'm just going to sit up here for the guidance. So either lying down or seated position. Making yourself comfortable. Whatever position brings greatest ease to the body, to the spine, to the mind. You can close the eyes or perhaps just adopting a soft gaze. And as you close the eyes, perhaps noticing a greater awareness of sensations of sound. And sensations of air on the skin. Noticing any cool areas or any areas of warmth in the body. Any sensation of taste that might be present. Sensing the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Release to gravity. Sensing the lips, the teeth, the tongue. Sensing the roof of the mouth, the back of the throat. Sensing the left ear, the right ear. Sensing both ears at once. welcoming in sensations of sound that arise. The sounds in the room around you. The sound of my voice. Not seeking for sound, just allowing it to arrive at the body. Sensing the movement of air at the nostrils. The coolness of the inhalation. The gentle warmth of the exhalation. Sensing the space above the eyes, at the eyebrows. Sensing the temples. The space below the eyes. The space between the eyes. Sensing the space behind the eyes. Any sensations of light or of dark behind the eyelid. Now sensing the forehead, the top of the head, the back of the head, base of the skull. Sensing the shoulders. Sensing the jaw, the neck, and the shoulders release to gravity. Sensing the arms and the hands. Sensing the palm of the hands. The back of the hand. Sensing the fingers. Perhaps sensing how the hands are a natural extension of the heart. Now sensing the chest and the belly. Gentle movement with the breath. Sensing the upper back and the shoulder blades. The mid back. Sensing the gentle curve of the lower back. Sensing the hips and the pelvis. Sensing the left leg and left foot. Sensing the right leg and right foot. Sensing the entire body as sensation. Noticing all the areas where the body comes in contact with and is supported by the ground or by the chair. Sensing the strength of the spine. And now bringing the attention to the breath. Sensing the movement of air at the nostrils. The rise and fall of the belly with the breath. Sensing the space and the expanse of the inhalation. And the release and the letting go of the exhalation. Sensing the wave of the breath through the body. Sensing the rise and release of the belly with the breath. Sensing the subtle movements of the spine with the breath. Any subtle movements of the hips or of the pelvis with the breath. Just a body breathing. Thoughts may continue to arise and just noticing that they're there. Bringing the attention back to sensations in the body and breath. And now bringing the attention to the area of the heart. Noticing what's present at the heart today. Perhaps bringing to mind something from this week or from today that's brought you a sense of gratitude or a sense of strength. What does that sense of gratitude or sense of strength feel like at the heart? What does it feel like in the rest of the body? Perhaps bringing to mind your intention for this practice or your intention for life. Perhaps a new intention has arisen. Sensing that intention or that desire is true in this moment. And if you're lying on the ground, you can start to bring some gentle movement to the fingers and to the toes, perhaps stretching out the arms and the legs. If you're lying on the ground, you can roll over to your side, just taking a few breaths there. As you're ready, starting to slowly push your way up back to a comfortable seated position. Once seated, perhaps closing the eyes again and just noticing what's now present, the thoughts that are now present, sensations that are now present in the body. Perhaps still sensing that intention or that sense of gratitude or of strength. You can begin to open the eyes, letting in sensation of light and color and shapes in the room. And as you're ready, arriving fully present in this moment, just as it is.